12th of October 2021, tarehe 12 mwezi wa 10 mwaka 2021. This is a State of the Nation edition, the 12th October of 2021. Karibuni sana. Request that when you join in, please like. When you like, we get to know that you're watching us. And after like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to wide the broadcast. This is the tackle and it begins now. Leo tuko State of the Nation edition na tuko na mheshimiwa Duale, ni mbunge wa Garissa Township. Ndio also the leader of majority, atatuambia kuliendaje pale bungeni kama likarangwa kidogo na what happened there. But it's going to tell us what happened there. It's a man who shoots almost, is it, they say, below the hips. But anyway, you're not going to get there this morning. And request of the journey, please like. When you like, you get into watching us. And after like, please share. When you share, you give someone else an opportunity to wide the broadcast. Kama kawaida, lazima tuende mbele za Mungu tuombe. This is the only show, I think, in the country that begins with a prayer. You open because the salvos that get via sometimes. When we started off, you remember, used to be pulled down every other week. But anyway, these days we've survived. We're 1 year old now. This call is 1 year old. So tunaenda mbele za Mungu tuombe. Sijui kama ujuanga tatupeleka mbele za Mungu leo. Alafu tukirudi basi nakuja kuwapa salamu zenu very quickly.
Yeah, let's pray. Thank you, God, for this morning. Thank you because even though things are tough, we are not consumed. We have a lot of hope in your salvation. Thank you for the guest and for this show, and Lord, for this country. Please stay in charge of our affairs. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Asante. Let us know where you're watching us from. I can see wangona waamka leo mapema tayari. If you have not shared the podcast, please share it very quickly. I'm also seeing guys on YouTube already up and running. Guys on Facebook as well already up and running. I'll not be able to read the comments this morning so that we can ensure that we utilize the guest in best way possible. But please let us know where you're watching us from. I'll be checking in once in a while. Please. I'm seeing diaspora guys already in. Leonard Serem from Australia. I can see you. Emmanuel Serem. I can see you. Kipchumba. I can see you. Ngethe. I can see you. Lomeri. I can see you. Mitch, I can see you as well. Deritu Maina Anakuana Sakli Masai, I can see you. Kanishas, I can see you. Ari Mokize, I can see you as well. Boy Child, I can see you. Dan Kelmos Bay, I can see you. Munga Lito Continua from UK, Convent to United Kingdom, I can see you. Johan Elias as Victor Samuel, I can see you. Wasuka Kabute, I can see you. Bernard Dimor KE, Asante Sana, Dihiki, good morning. Mwangi, good morning. Abet Seme, good morning. Eliud Tesan, good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. Please like, share, and let us know where you're watching us from this morning. Tuambie unatazama kutoka wapi, alafu basi tuweze kuchapa kazi pamoja. I'm also seeing on YouTube, I can see Frederick Juma is already up and running. Good to see you, my brother, as the week begins. It's the State of the Nation edition of the 12th of October 2021. Tarehe ni 12 mwaka mwezi wa 10 mwaka 2021. Wacha tuende kwanza masokoni tulipa madeni, alafu basi tukirudi tunakuja kuingia kazi direct. Tutaanza na Maridadi Motors. Maridadi Motors inakupa nafasi ya kuweza kuagiza gari kwa bei nafuu zaidi. Maridadi Motors gives you an opportunity to import in the cheapest way possible, and you get to save up to 300,000 Kenyan shillings. There's nowhere else you can get such a deal. You get to save up to 300,000 Kenyan shillings when you import with Maridadi Motors. Maridadi Motors as well gives you an opportunity to invest. If you have money that you invest as you want to invest as an investment, you can invest at Maridadi Motors import to sell module, where you invest in your money and you get to earn up to 15% returns on your investment. Maridadi Motors as well gives you an opportunity to save for two reasons. If you are saving for a unit, you're saving for a car. Kama unataka kuweka akiba kuweza kununua gari, una save asilimia 50 ama 50%, alafu hiyo nyingine unailipa basi ukiwa barabarani ukiendesha gari yako pole pole. That's a deal from Maridadi Motors. You get to save for a unit 50%, and also you get to save as an investment with the returns of 15%. Maridadi Driving Academy as well. I tell you this every time, that good drivers don't happen by accident. But Maridadi Driving Academy gives an opportunity to be the best driver in town. So you can train at Maridadi Driving Academy. Call them on the numbers on the screen. Amonde pale kwenye page Maridadi Motors Unlimited, alafu uweze kuchapa, alafu upesi haraka ujumbe, alafu basi watakuangalia haraka upesi. Leo pia tutakuwa pale tukaweza kuzungumza nao kuhusu njia swafi zaidi ya kuweza kuwa driver maridadi. Kama unajenga pia, Rex Roofing inakupa nafasi ya kuweza kuwekeza nyumba yako kwa njia shwari zaidi. Rex Roofing gives you beautiful roofs, and I tell you this every time, that there's nothing as great as a great roof. When you're building your house, your roof is your legacy. So you can only invest in proper roofing products from Rex Roofing, quality roofing shingles, stone coated tiles, na pia kama ushaweka roof basi unaweza kuharvest maji kwa njia rahisi zaidi. UPVC water harvesting gutters, safe, 100% safe. And I guarantee you this, in the next 50 years, I don't know where you will be, but I can guarantee you that your roof will still be there only if we roof with Rex Roofing. Rex Roofing roofs your wall. Pia kama unadunga airtime pale, kimbia Swift Airtime KE, pay bill number 325325, account number yako ya simu. Kama pia na mzigo unataka kuisukuma haraka upesi, Zigo inakupa nafasi ya kuweza kusukuma mzigo wako within Nairobi kwa bei nafuu zaidi. Zigo inaweza kufanyia deliver. Nasema you ask we deliver. Zigo you ask we deliver. Karibuni sana tena. Naona wangona amekuja hapa na salamu, wanasalimia mheshimiwa sana Aden Duale. Good to see you my brother. Good morning.
Asante sana. Mbia na wasalimia.
Wamekusubiri sana.
As long since I've been here, I think let's start the show and see what you guys need from me.
They've been asking for you for the whole, almost the whole year. The tackle is 1 year now.
Is it?
And every time they've been like, where is the majority leader at Duale?
No, I rarely speak. And if I speak, I say it the way it is. Yeah, that's why.
That's why you're jobless.
Many people, no, I'm not jobless. I mean,
in the context of what happened.
That's why many people in town don't like when I speak. So,
so you try not to speak as much.
Yeah. I speak once in a while to remind people that no, we are not idiots. We know what is going on. Yeah.
You're not idiots. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. So what has been going on? What have you been up to?
No, nothing. I have been around for some time, and more so I've been around since 2007. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I am now heading to my 4th political party. I was in ODM in 2007. Midway after 2 years, we realized that myself and many others, including Isaac Ruto, Deputy President, many others, that why we joined ODM to achieve certain ideological benefits that are not there. So we left and we formed URP. Then in the formation of government, we found ourselves with the TNA led by President Uhuru Kenyatta. We formed Jubilee. Now we're on track, having a national party. And the dividends were very, very clear because in the 2017 general election, that unity vehicle gave us 175 members of parliament, the National Assembly, majority in the Senate, majority in the county governors and assemblies. But again, 2 years down the line, after 2017 or 1 year, certain forces, forces of evil, came and hijacked the whole train, including the party, the ideology, the unity. So we found ourselves back to where we were 5 years ago. So we are now again forming the Hustler movement. We have a party. God is great. They wanted to use the state machinery to deny us even have a political party for 2022. But we didn't come to Nairobi, some of us, to count people's houses. Yeah. We came here with a strategy, with a plan.
You came to build.
So they found us with the Hustlers Party. So now we have got their pants down politically. They have remained with a shell called Jubilee. And because we are people of faith, we believe that we are on the right track. And we will not leave the route to unite the people of Kenya. We will not leave. We want to make sure that each and every Kenyan, regardless of his community and region and faith, get a place where he can say this is home. So I hope we will not again find problems in UDA. So now we're in UDA.
And even before I give it to Ojwang, let me ask you, you've given us the chronology and the journey in party politics, and you've ended with, I hope UDA will not be another Jubilee. What do you make of Kenyan party politics? Why is it that we're always moving from a party to another?
No, Kenyan party political architecture is always hijacked by tribal chieftains, political leaders who believe in the tribal mobilization. They believe in tribal, they believe in the tribe, that the only way they can mobilize their community is through the tribal card. So if you look at the kind of the political parties we have today, I'll give you a very good example. You look at Kalonzo Musyoka, I think he has about 21 members of parliament. And about 19 of them are from Ukambani. You look at Moses Wetangula. I mean, he has a party called Ford Kenya, I think with less than a dozen members of parliament. Or at least I know he's the only senator of his party. They're not even from the Luya nation. They are from the Bukusu sub-tribe. If you go to ODM, 75% of the members of parliament from ODM are from the Luo Nyanza and their diaspora. You go to Gideon Moy, I think it is him and the women rep, and two others around his neighbors. The Kamket and I think governor of West Pokot. So the only time we wanted to demystify and we wanted to make sure that we remove the political tag from the Kenyan political landscape, political parties landscape, was when we formed and merged 15 political parties and formed Jubilee. Okay. Today, Jubilee, the former Jubilee, let me say, has members, elected members in 43 out of the 47 counties. And you'll find Arendile, the smallest, you'll find people in Nyanza, in Central, in the Rift, in Coast, in everywhere. So we wanted us to set the agenda. Then that will help the opposition coalesce around another national party. But unfortunately, and for his own personal reason and the succession politics, President Kenyatta now is introducing regional and tribal parties. Very unfortunate. And that will look like his legacy, politically speaking. Because now you have seen he's the one who's starting the parties in the coast, led by Kina King and all that. He's the one who's starting this animal called Upia in our region. It's not a party. It's a state-sponsored. He's the same guy who's starting many, many other small parties in Western. So, very, very sad. We expected by now, after the 2010 Constitution, and after the advent of the multi-party politics in 1992 or 91, we expected Kenya. Kenya is a country that its democracy is celebrated. Yeah. We expected now Kenya to have two major political formations, like the US, like the UK, that are based on ideology, that have got solid manifestos. But Raila Odinga wants to colonize the Luo Nyanza. Uhuru Kenyatta, and by extension, and his family wants to colonize the mountain, Kalonzo Musyoka wants to colonize that corner of Eastern Province. That's why now you hear of Mount Kenya East, Mount Kenya West. The pastoralists who have their own issues in terms of insecurity now are being put in various small formations based on their clan and region. But I think all this will be a thing of the past if the Hustler movement that brings together all people of all shades, that Hustler movement becomes a reality. But it's very, very unfortunate that the key leaders from the 5 major tribes, excluding Deputy President William Ruto, and I'm not saying because he's my friend, he's a man who believes in the unity of the nation. The rest of the other guys, they believe in tribal politics. Minus tribal politics, their political survival is
nil.
Is nil.
All right, so what then would change with UDA? Because I remember this was the same gospel that we are hearing today about Jubilee. It was about let's unite the country, let's have one big party, and then we unite the country, we form one political front. What then will be what is the base and the foundation of UDA that will make it so different from Jubilee?
No, number one, in every election and in every political formation, the common denominator is a political party. You need a vehicle, either to take you to the opposition or to government. So after we were told you are persona non grata by those guys who are now running, the two Jews and the Murathes, you know, we had to find, and I told you we didn't come to Nairobi
to count houses.
Yeah, to count people's houses. We are politicians and we are political animals. So we had to find very, very quickly a vehicle. So number one, the formation of UDA principally is to get us a vehicle for the next government. So once we got to UDA, then we decided to, how do we brand this UDA? And that's why, you know, those people who are talking about the wheelbarrow, kazi ni kazi, and demeaning those slogans and symbols and philosophy and ideology, they have no idea the many nights we spent in deciding on why we should choose a wheelbarrow as a symbol to represent the many Kenyans who do at the bottom of the pyramid a lot of work to gain their livelihood. They did not know how many nights we set to agree on this slogan called kazi ni kazi. How many hours we spent on even the word UDA. I mean, that party that transformed into UDA was called PDR. The colors, the constitution, the manifesto. So, you know, people wake up and they say, oh, wheelbarrow, takataka, oh, this is kazi ni kazi is what? Because, you know, they're used to tribal parties. So from where I sit, and I hope our party leader, quote unquote, the deputy president, and many of us will live to that party and maybe generations to come. Number one, the fundamental difference between UDA and other political parties, because you've asked me what is the difference.
What would be the difference?
Is that UDA will be a national party. Okay? Will not be associated with any community, will not be associated with any region, or will not be associated with any group of people. That's number one. Two, UDA symbolizes from that hustler nation. The ideology is a hustler movement, is a party that can resonate very well with the ideology we have, the economic model that we want to introduce in our country, the bottom-up economic model. Thirdly, and more fundamentally, and I think very, very important, we want UDA to become a very vibrant, democratic party, because we cannot open the doors for each and everybody and all shades of life to join UDA and then have inherent schemes and plans to lock out certain people. And so UDA must attain the test of democracy, and that will be realized during our party nominations. We will do whatever it takes that the people of Kenya, the hustlers, will pick the best of the person they want. And finally, you know that we have a lot of issues with many of our partners. And I'm sure you have seen Moses Kuria is very uneasy. Mother Karua is very uneasy. Kinjuri is uneasy. Isaac Ruto might be uneasy. Many of our friends who believe that UDA should have affiliate parties. And I want to say it here, that if we go that route, then the hustler movement philosophy will be lost. We cannot say that we want to bring all the hustlers in this country, regardless of their region, their tribe, and the faith they belong to, into one movement, and then within that movement, we tell them, no, you come from this corner, have your party. You come from this corner, have your party. So I want to say it here categorically. I don't think if you have a small, it's like, UDA is like a bigger supermarket. Carrefour, or the former Nakumat. And then you come in and you tell us you want to have a small room
inside
within this supermarket, where some of our people who will come and buy goods and services will also first enter that room. So this is where we have, and I've talked to a number of people, that we cannot tell people, come and join us. We want to form a unity of purpose. We want to have a bottom-up economic model. We want to bring farmers and livestock keepers and the small businesses and people of all faith in one room. And then at the same time we say, no, this room must have some cubicles. So that's why we have. So many people have not understood the philosophy of the Hustler movement and the formation of the UDA. But I'm sure as time goes by,
they'll absorb.
They'll absorb.
All right. As I throw it to Ojwang, any regrets winding up URP?
I think yes and no.
Okay.
Because the winding up of URP, a number of us, key leaders, founder members of URP, raised our concern with our party leader before the dissolution with the Honorable William Ruto. And the winding up of URP had pros and cons, and we analyzed. And I think later, in totality, under his leadership, we agreed we are better off winding up URP and forming a national party, which we did, and we saw the dividend, and we saw the value. What happened to that national party called Jubilee? I think the people who cannibalized, the people who disrespected the leadership, the people who made sure that Jubilee don't achieve its ideological purpose and unity of purpose, were not from the URP side. They were from the TNA side. So for us, we have no regret. We formed a national party. The people who came and cannibalized Jubilee were the people who came, who were hanging from the TNA wing, from President Uhuru Kenyatta's court. I think he brought a lot of drunkards and useless people to our house, and they mess us up. But as I told you, we came to this city with a purpose, and we are in politics with a purpose. So we have no regrets. Personally, I have no regrets, because when we raised issues why we should not wind up URP, again is why we should wind up. I think the pros and the benefits of forming a national party superseded why we should have a fairly strong party, but with the regional
strength.
Tag, because it was more like a Rift Valley party, Rift Valley pastoralist party. Yeah,
the pastoralist party.
Yeah, that was where our numbers were coming from.
United Republic of Pastoralists.
Yes, it was our majority of our members of parliament and government senators were from those two regions. Yeah, and a few from coast.
Ojwang.
Mheshimiwa, good morning.
Your microphone.
Mheshimiwa, good morning.
Morning, Prof. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, long time, Prof. Prof, of course, of politics. I saw him when he was in the corridor in Hague, yelling, and I was wondering, this is undiplomatic. How do a politician then yell at British Empire? And he said, I know what I'm doing. The European Union have refused our proposal to change the use of recanted evidence in ICC, and Britain was pushing EU and remaining behind. So when he hit them on the head, they came out and said, we are targeted. He said, no, we know you are the one pushing these other countries. And so I learned a lot in diplomacy of how sometime you know, sometime when things are going wrong, you point at the issues and they get resolved. But my question is, the exercise of political right, we are not told how we should exercise it. It is free. So if somebody chooses to be in a tribal party or identity politics, can we say that identity politics is backward? Yet we come from communities. We have identity. We have unique issues. To some extent, they can overlap, but we have unique issues. So if we play identity politics, or somebody choose to play identity politics, which the right to vote means I can even choose to vote for somebody because I like their smile.
Yes.
Yes. So there is nothing illegal. Isn't that a version of the Africa democracy where we are saying that big house, whether it's the presidency, let us approach it from diversity and not just come and say we are all together. Isn't the Constitution and the people moving from strong centralization to devolution? Because they are realizing that people aspiration are realized in smaller units, in coherent units, and so we moved from centralization actually to devolution. Public participation is more on devolution. Isn't bigger parties sending us back to centralization, where now we are not taking care of, you can see the forest and not see the individual trees. We were starting to see the individual trees with these small parties. So that's
I agree with you. Our constitution is anchored on a unitary nation. Okay? Kenyan Constitution.
Yeah.
If you read Article 10 of the Constitution, national values, and many, and read together with many other articles, Kenya talks about unitary state, equality, justice. So Kenya is a unitary state. Prof, where regional and ethnic parties can work is in a federal system like Ethiopia, I'll give you, where the ethnic configuration is very complex. So if you look at the Ethiopia political architecture and model, you'll have the Somali region have their own political party, the Amhara region have their own political party, the Oromos have their own political parties, the Tigrayans have political parties, the smaller communities in the southern part of Ethiopia have their own political parties. Then they come and join either the Prosperity Party now formed by Prime Minister Abe, or they form the EPDF of the former Tigrayan rulers. But and that's why if we go that we're not federal, so ours is devolution is a different one. Devolution in our case is just to make sure that this centralized system of the economy, because before the decision of the country in terms of the whole budget decision was being made along Harambee Avenue, the office of the president on this side, the national treasury is on the other side, so they just cross. And that's why there was a serious imbalance in terms of development. Okay? Yeah. Certain regions, there are certain regions of this country have got, out of I think the 30,000 kilometer of tarmac road since independence in our country, maybe 10,000 is in one region. It's very, very sad. So we wanted, as we reduced the powers of an imperial presidency in the 2010 constitution, we were also trying to make sure that resources and decisions could also be given to people at the local level. That was the essence of devolution. The resources. It didn't talk about devolving politics. And it did talk about devolving political parties to counties. Okay? Actually, even those people who are now forming regional and tribal parties, in my opinion, the registrar of political party should not register those political parties. Okay. They are contrary to the constitution. They are very unconstitutional. Because look at parties which are being formed by governors. The officials are their staff. Some parties, their officials are from one region. That is unconstitutional. It's against Article 10 of the Constitution. So we don't want to be part of the leadership that will be indicted in many years to come that took Kenya the route of regionalism and ethnic balkanization. You know, look at Nyanza, for example, with a lot of respect to Raila, Prime Minister from Raila Odinga. Nyanza has produced the best politicians. I mean, I've been in parliament now for, I think, third term. The men and women that are elected from Nyanza are really, really politicians. But before they say anything, they must check their back.
Wow.
The problem is because of ethnic politics, you know? And ethnic politics makes the politician, the leader, to become a slave of or patronage of a certain political leader from that region.
You're not representing your people.
You are not representing your people.
the
You are more concerned how are you going to be re-elected. And the joker card is held by that leader. So the Constitution of 2010, you know, if you ask me, did great things to the people of Kenya. It says we must have a multi-party politics, but we must have parties that have the face of the nation, both in content, in leadership, and in its constitution. And even party's constitution must be aligned to the constitution. Two, that is why, you know, people, you know, the problem in Kenya, people don't read and they don't internalize, both in spirit and letter, the 2010 constitution. You know, a senior counsel like Kalonzo Musyoka doesn't know that this constitution, 2010 constitution, has defined the office of the deputy president fundamentally different from the office of the vice president.
Yeah.
So when he talks, he says, no, when I was with Kibaki, I never used to behave this. Give us a break. Before 2010, the president used to give an appointment letter to his vice president. He used to appoint. In fact, even Prime Minister Raila Odinga was given an appointment letter by Kibaki in the Grand Coalition government for him to be a prime minister. But the 2010 constitution, looking at the humiliation that leaders and vice presidents suffered since independence, the humiliation that Jaramogi suffered under Mzee Kenyatta, both in terms of his office and in terms of his personality, the humiliation that, you know, Mzee Moi suffered, physically assaulted by junior public officers, the humiliation that Saitoti, Mwai Kibaki suffered under Moi, you know, as vice presidents, the humiliation that even Kalonzo himself suffered under the public officers at the office of the president. I mean, I was a member of parliament. Kalonzo used to be left at the waiting room of Francis Kimemia. You know, I will say it. Kalonzo was nothing. I mean, his only work was to, you know, fight Honorable Raila Odinga on who should chair the House Business Committee in Parliament and agree on protocol. But he suffered.
Of who speak fast, yeah.
The late Saitoti suffered under Moi. You know, you remember?
Yeah.
Dr. Karanja, Professor Karanja suffered. So that the framers of the 2010 constitution said, this cannot continue.
Yeah.
And that's why they introduced the office of the deputy president. And to insulate future humiliation, they said both of them, the president and his running mate, must appear on the ballot paper.
Yeah.
And that at Bomas, during the declaration of elections, the returning officer, the chair of IBC, must give both of them 2 certificates. So William Ruto has a certificate. Uhuru Kenyatta has a certificate. So in fact, William Ruto cannot, those who are saying should resign, William Ruto cannot resign without the concurrence of the millions who voted for me, including myself.
With your vote.
You cannot make a decision.
If he resigns, all of you must resign.
No, not resign. He will not resign.
Okay.
He must put us in Kasarani. All the millions who voted for him. And he should ask us, can I resign? So it's not his wish. So you see, it's very very unfortunate. Even when that office has been insulated, even the two offices have been put and called the presidency, like in the US. Together. It is very unfortunate. It is very sad. And I really want to ask anybody who will take over from President Uhuru Kenyatta not to go this route, where you humiliate, you ridicule the person of the deputy president, his character, and his office. That, I think, is not what the framers of the Constitution and the people of Kenya. So, Prof, I think regional and tribal parties, unless we amend the Constitution, they have no place in the Kenyan political...
the spirit and the values.
In the Kenyan political structure.
In fact, I like what you're saying, that the insulation of the office of the deputy president came because of our rotten politics.
Absolutely.
What Mutunga called lack of political hygiene.
And he called it, when he said about the bandit economy.
The bandit economy. Yeah. And so it came as a check and balance to the president, actually. Yes. Because I even saw a part in the Constitution that even if you are running mate dies before election, that election is postponed.
Yes.
Not just the candidate, not the presidential, but even if running mate. So the same...
Even MCA.
Even MCA.
Yeah.
And so you find that even the budget, according to the Constitution, should not be slashed for anybody, the comfort for deputy president or for the president. And I think it is the notion that Kalonzo is talking about. Because if you look at the deputy president, they're also different. Jaramogi is the one who made... Kenyatta the president.
Yes.
So you cannot say that Jaramogi is equal to how Moi was picked from nowhere.
Yes.
The same way, I think, when you look at Uhuru and Ruto, it was more of partnership. So it's not somebody giving somebody a pointing letter and saying, here from today.
No, it was a coalition. It was a coalition. I was part of the people who drafted the URP and TNA coalition agreement. Yeah.
You know, before Bitok, vice president were even fired if you refuse the president to dance with your wife. So we came from a rotten background, and this constitution was fixing that.
But while you are there, you know, there's one thing that Kenyans must understand: that the politics of betrayal, deceit, and backstabbing is a very common denominator in the political history of this country. You know, people now today they're telling us one side of the story. They're telling us, no, we want to elect Raila Odinga because Jaramogi, when he was to be the president, he said no until Kenyatta was
comes out of prison.
Coming until he comes out of prison. I will not. Yes, we agree with you.
Yeah.
But you tell us also how Kenyatta mistreated and humiliated Jaramogi.
Yeah.
I mean, the story must complete the story.
The story must be completed.
And then don't tell us that, okay, with Mountain must elect Raila Odinga because he said Kibaki Tosha. By saying Kibaki Tosha, Raila Odinga betrayed senior leaders in his camp. He betrayed Simon Nyachae. He betrayed George Saitoti. He betrayed the same Kalonzo Musyoka. Okay? What they agreed in Serena, and I was part of that movement, and I was in Serena.
Wow.
What was agreed in Serena? Serena was agreed when we go to cross the road and go to Uhuru Park. We should not agree on a candidate.
Let's just go meet the people.
Let us go address the people of Kenya, show the unity of the leaders from both, from NAC and from the other LDP, the team that left Kanu. Then out of nowhere, Raila Odinga threw everybody who worked with him from Serena under the bus. Yes, and said Kibaki Tosha.
You saw him on TV
own selfish interests. What happened? You know, and it is in the scriptures, both in the Quran and in the Bible, that, you know, when you do deceitful, when you are a deceitful person, when you are a cheat, you are a untruthful person, you can plan for the human beings on earth, but as you plan for the human beings on earth, the Almighty God will plan for you.
Wow.
What happened? And then what happened to the Kibaki Tosha? We agree, fine. Raila is a good man. He said Kibaki Tosha. Don't finish the sentence. Continue with the story. What happened when Kibaki formed government? The Tosha. Then what happened? Matere Kereri, the Chris Murungaru, Kraitu Murungi, name them. These are the guys who didn't allow Raila Odinga to enter and come closer to State House barely 2 weeks to the swearing in of President Kibaki. Raila is, in fact, just like his father, is the most humiliated politician in Kenya. And I don't think he should have the courtesy and the courage to participate in the humiliation of another leader. And for this time, William Ruto. You know, this is the problem I see with when I look at and dissect the politics of Kenya. So, those of us who are telling us about Jaramogi said Kenyatta must be released. Please do not finish the story. Finish the story. We hear up to
and then after that,
those who are telling us about, this man called Raila Odinga is a good man. He said Kibaki Tosha. Don't finish the story. Okay, he said Kibaki Tosha. Then, you guys were very happy. How did you treated him in the first NAG government? I was a member of LDP.
At that time, yeah.
Yes, at that time. Finish the story when Raila, even in 2007, I was in ODM, I was a member of parliament. And I still believe that in that election, Raila Odinga, that is the only election he won in 2007. Yeah. My conscience is very clear. So don't finish the story. How did you treated Raila Odinga and his brigade, me included, in the Grand Coalition government? Raila Odinga was humiliated. And I'm sure if he's listening to me, Miguna was a special advisor to Raila Odinga, will agree with me. So, because of the politics of deceit and dishonesty, people don't want to finish the sentence. They don't want to finish the story. Yeah, so let us finish all the stories.
Let us have a complete story.
Then from there we dissect, we take it to the theater table and dissect it and see what can we get out of it.
Mheshimiwa, finally, because of course Maina Commander said the victory of Raila was not stolen. His victory was postponed to 2022. and so
you said with a lot of hope.
They just postponed. They kept it for him.
You see the arrogance. That kind of arrogance.
But you see, you are bringing a point that have also disturbed me. Because when I see even tribal clashes, and the reason for failure of Kenya peace is betrayal. And so I wonder how you can build peace through betrayal.
Yes.
And I mean whether it is through handshake, whether it is through dismissing what you said. I think the biggest prayer in Mount Kenya is forgive us our debt as we forgive those who have our debts. But how can you build peace? Because we know that the disappointment and whenever we have chaos in Kenya is because of betrayal.
Yes.
So how do we talk of, it's almost an oxymoron.
Yes.
That you are building peace by breaking promises or by betraying. So I think that point is coming out very clearly that if we are talking of peace and political hygiene, then you don't bring a whole community, tell them yangu kumi na yako kumi, and then you turn and say, by the way, that's just politics.
Yes.
Because then the issue, when do I trust then that when leaders talk, they mean what they're saying?
Yes.
And they say what they mean. So that political hygiene, you are right, that we cannot build peace by betrayal. And I know you'll have a comeback to that. But Mheshimiwa, I thought hustler, where your heart is, and I've heard the articulation.
And my soul.
And I've heard the articulation of the things that that the bottom-up economy. By the way, in my observation, I found it almost that you guys hijacked. Because we all thought Mudavadi was going to be the economy candidate. And before he opened his mouth, you guys came with bottom-up. So he has nothing else to say as a model. And I've seen Jacom trying to re-engineer very fast some version of what I see.
The social welfare
social welfare, the whatever, because you guys have run with the bottom up, the creation of jobs, the SMEs, the making lending and finance accessible, the universal healthcare, the saving culture, and all those that embeds it. But I thought that Hustler is a movement, and movement suffer when they are so much formalized or structured. It slows down movement, so that even that person who is in ODM can say, I'm in ODM, but I believe in the Hustler philosophy. But you are making, so of course, for lack of better structure, the best thing you can come with is a political party under the Political Party Act. But I thought this movement is bigger than simply being frozen in a political party. So that, why can't Martha Karua say, Hustler is where my art is, but I'm operating from this kiosk, like you are calling themselves in the supermarket.
Yes.
Today, if you go to the supermarket, you actually find everybody standing by their product.
Yes.
All the supermarket do is offer you aisles.
Yes.
And so you go somewhere, there's a time, I assume all those are supermarket employees. Mm-hmm. And I found, no, somebody has just brought Omo. In this supermarket, this is where you sell your Omo. This is how we proceed. So are you not freezing that movement when you narrow it sharply, sharply?
Let me help you. And that's why, if you have seen, we have the huge Hustler movement. And the Hustler movements come from different parts of the country. Mm-hmm. And they come with
a groundswell, actually.
Yes, and they come with different economic priorities. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you have been seeing us having different regions' economic blocks.
Economic charters. Mm-hmm.
Charters. Mm-hmm. We have done for Nyanza, we have done for Coast, we have done for, I think, we're about to do for the Rift.
The Western is done.
We have done Western, we have done the Mountain, we're about to do farm for the pastoralist. And that's why, within this huge Hustler movement and the product you're saying in the supermarket, is the products will ultimately will become their economic charters. Okay? So that you guys are Hustler movement. We will empower you in your different context and different ideals. The Hustlers in Garissa might have a different configuration with the Hustlers in Eldoret and Hustlers in Kisumu, you know? Yeah. So that's why we're saying in this bigger house called Hustler, we must have different economic priorities that government is going to address. So where we have a problem is the political orientation. We want Mother Karua to come and tell us this is how we can improve this concept of the Hustler.
Okay,
within yes.
So you want to build coalition with the people, not politicians.
Now you got it. You know, for many years, let me ask you, I'll give you a good example. Me, Aden Duale, I can be very selfish and tell the deputy president, what do you have for me and my other political cronies? What do you have? So we negotiate on the basis of positions. That is where, from where I sit, that is where we disagree with many other people who don't want to join Hustler. I want to go to the table with the priorities of the Hustler and the people of the northern Kenya and the pastoralist. If they get the better part of the cake of that government, of that Hustler, I am one person, the other more. So that's why, people are telling us, we must, one of the most outrageous thing I've heard from a politician was my very good friend, Moses Kuria, saying that we want the deputy president, we want our position in the legislature, we want our positions in government.
40%. Okay.
So I said, so the country belongs to you only. So that is why we're saying, you come to us, join the Hustler movement, but you must come with the priorities
of the people.
First. Secondly, and more fundamentally, You know, and I must, and this is one of the things that will come up in many of the talk we're going to have as we go to the election. I was with ODM and Raila Odinga in 2007. I was part of the formation of the Pentagon. And in that election, William Ruto was second to Raila Odinga, both in terms of decision making, in terms of resources, contribution, in terms of ideology and operations. He did more rallies than any other person. He delivered. And William Ruto was the darling of Raila Odinga. In 2013, of course, in 2013, what really brought us more was the ICC equation. William Ruto was a baddie of Uhuru Kenyatta. He was a guy who was Mr. Fix in our campaign in 2013 and 2017.
Explainer in chief.
So we
The
are
promiser.
we are not. I mean, we are at the age where we can, we can speak the truth and we can. So the question that I ask myself is, what is this movement, coalition of key leaders, the Kalonzo and the Musalia and the Gideon and Raila and the Uhuru, coalescing together, fighting William Ruto? They're not telling us. Raila Odinga should tell us when he was with William Ruto, both in the Pentagon and in cabinet and all that, in the Grand Coalition government. What is that William Ruto has done that makes him not to become the president?
Yeah.
President Uhuru Kenyatta, not once, and I'll go on record, more than 20 times I've asked him, Mr. President,
What happened?
what happened? What is your problem with Mr. William Ruto? And the president, and I'm sure he listened to this show, told me there is no problem. I have no problem with my deputy. Over 20 times I asked him, do you have another candidate? Yeah, with Jubilee, we're a big house. You don't want William Ruto, do you have another candidate?
Within Jubilee.
And he told me, looking at me in the face, that where did I say William Ruto is not my candidate? And until recently, when we even met this UPI, I call them Upuzi thing, being...
The OP of Kuti.
Yes, Kuti. I'm not Kuti of Yatani.
Yatani, yes.
And let me say it here. The pastoralists believe in majoritarian. Pastoralist culture is majoritarian. It's not a good thing. But they have got tendency of living in a majoritarian life. In fact, in a pastoralist, the man who has 300, 400 camels is the ultimate guy who makes a decision for the community. Okay. If you have got 5 cows, 2 camels, you need to hear the decision and you go and implement it. And the reason I'll tell you.
What a democracy.
No. And the reason I'll tell you, this man with the 300 camel or the 1,000 cows is like the pastor's life is more like a communist system.
He's sharing.
That is a man who pay the blood money in case
people who are stuck.
That is a man who, during the drought, he will supply milk to everybody and sundry in that community. That is a man, when somebody is sick, he will take the burden. So if you look at the configuration of the pastoralist in northern Kenya, and let me even pick the 5 main counties of Garissa, Wajir, Mandera, and Marsabit and Isiolo. Ukur Yatani's community has only one constituency. One constituency. There are communities that have got 20 MPs, 10 MPs. So, I jokingly said, and I will repeat it here, that, in the pastoralist context, a minority cannot lead the majority. So I can't sit behind Ukur. Yeah, I mean, until the world will come to an end, even my community will ask me, what are you doing there? So I have told, it's a state project. Ukur Yatani can come to us as the leaders of northern Kenya and tell us, you know what, there's a reshuffle coming. I might be replaced. You guys come and support me. Then we'll discuss. But you cannot use us as a title deed to defend his personal interests. So that Upuzi thing is gone. So I'm coming to what I said about this man, William Ruto, and his two co-partners, Raila Odinga
And President.
So the President Uhuru Kenyatta, I asked him once, twice, so you have no problem. Even when these UPA guys met Uhuru a month ago, I told them, our members, I was not there. You guys go ask Uhuru Kenyatta who is his candidate.
Yeah.
And the president did not say who is supporting. He said, you guys, I want to unite the country. Tell me, did Uhuru Kenyatta until this morning, did he say this is my candidate?
I've not heard. Maybe you guys have heard because you meet. You have tea.
No, I have tea with him and he told me I have no problem with you. But the whole of it is clouded in the politics of deceit, betrayal.
So who is about to be betrayed then? If you're saying the president doesn't have...
I told you the common denominator in the Kenyan political...
It's betrayal.
Post-independence Kenyan politics is betrayal, deceit.
So he's the next betrayal.
And I think William Ruto, I think, is a smart guy.
His betrayal is done.
And I think he's a smart guy, so he knew the betrayal. Someone like me, I was in denial until 2019. But I was in denial. I was telling the deputy president, my friend, let's relax. Let's relax. Until they brought this BBI nonsense. I said, wait a minute. And the characters on the other side, if you ask me, they are not intelligent people. Or they are not thinking intelligently. Even, this BBI could have passed if they follow the due process. But I participated also in the Bomas assembly in Bomas of Kenya in 2005. So nobody is telling us. So the president one-to-one doesn't tell me he has a problem with William Ruto. And in fact, one of the reasons when I was leaving office, I told him, you know what, if the only crime that I have committed, if it is loyalty, I have been loyal to you and the party. If it is delivery, I have delivered for Jubilee. I think I have only lost one bill. I think, and I have been the founder and the first majority leader. So I told him that itself will go into my CV. But I told him, if you have a problem because I am a friend to William Ruto, then I told him, so be it. I joined you on this train when you came with the TNA. I was the man who started URP. I'm the man who joined ODM and found William Ruto there. So I have a longer history, political journey with William Ruto. You are not telling me what crime he has committed. From even, forget about anything else, politics, from even my faith. I'm a man of faith. I want to leave this office. My friend, I better go and start with I don't want to join the politics of deceit and betrayal, So I told him, President, I think you are under pressure. And it was good because I told him that day that, get it right for me, I am not going to move the BBI bill in the House as the leader of majority. And I think that's what broke the camel's back. I told him I will oppose BBI. Because as a leader of majority. As a leader of majority. It's a government bill. The government bill is introduced by the leader of majority. So when I told him, you will be shocked, I will refuse to move that bill. And I will, even if you get somebody else to move it, I will oppose it. Then I think the president realized that our journey with him had ended, and I gave him the green light. But still, up to today, we talk with the president. I told him, after I left the office, I pick a call and I called him and I told him, Mr. President, you know what, my friend, we walked on a long journey for about 10 years. I know you, my family knows you, your family knows me. We have more good things we have shared. I think let me be the person who doesn't want to stop that relationship. So let us be friends. Where you need me, I will help you even in parliament, because now I'm a ranking member. But I was not ready, and I am not ready even now, because Raila is also my former party leader. I am not ready to join any camp, any group of people coalescing around and scheming to isolate, to humiliate both the office of the deputy president and his character. I am not ready. I am ready to walk the journey. Even if I lose my political seat in Garissa Township. And I don't think so, because they elected me on the ODM, they elected me on URP, they elected me on Jubilee. Now they are hustlers. So I think William Ruto case is exactly what happened to Mzee Moi. Unfortunately, President Kenyatta is doing exactly what his father did to Jaramogi and to Moi. Unfortunately. If he was not the son of Mzee Kenyatta, it would have been different. But he's doing it what Mzee Kenyatta, the late Kenyatta, did to Jaramogi, what Mzee Kenyatta did to Moi. And why am I using the word they did? There is no way, and nobody should convince us that when senior public officers who coalesce around the presidency, who are juniors to the vice president or to the deputy president, when they have the courage to humiliate the person and the character of a vice president, of a deputy president, you want to tell me the president is not aware?
Maybe he's not.
No, my friend, no.
But Mzee Moi turned the other cheek.
No, so I think if we want to move forward and unite Kenya, I think Raila Odinga, honestly, must go back and read the history of his father.
Right.
Under Kenyatta.
We fix the history.
And he reads the history of himself under Moi and under Kibaki and even under Uhuru. And as my brother said, nobody put a gun on President Uhuru to say over 1,000 times that kumi ni yangu,
kumi ni ndugu
yangu. Nobody. I was in all those rallies. We didn't have a brief. We didn't consult. William Ruto did not ask him to do that. So right now, he should just come out clear and say, you guys, I played the politics of deceit, betrayal, and dishonesty. And I'm telling you, even for William Ruto, he must listen to me. If God gives him the chance to become the next president of Kenya, he must stop the culture of political deceit, conmanship, and betrayal.
It has to end there.
It has to end.
All right.
I mean, our politics must have hygiene. Our politics must be admired. Our politics must have certain moral ground rules. Our politics must have some ethics.
All right.
Our politics cannot be, like the sewage. I mean,
everything goes.
Yeah. That today you can backstab, but unfortunately, today, this morning, the people who have been victims, Raila Odinga is a victim of political deceit and betrayal. Kalonzo Musyoka is a victim of political deceit and betrayal. William Ruto is the present.
He's the one on the shredder.
In fact, he's the one trending, victim of political deceit.
He's on the chopping board.
Yes. So the other guys who are victims are saying, no, this politics is lit, is morally right. What President Kenyatta is doing to his deputy is morally, ethically is right. I am telling them, give us a break. We are people of faith. We want leaders to be respected. Even the MCA who is elected member of parliament, even the church leader, the Muslim leader, the women leaders, professionals. There's a bill in parliament, which we are rejecting it, where Minister Kagwe wants to disrespect health professionals, doctors union, nurses union, clinicians, pharmacists, and is telling them, I am going to run it the way I run my house. No. These professionals are operating under an act of parliament passed by me when I was the leader of majority.
So what is the bill about?
The
so
bill
that
is
for
just
the
to
sake
make
of
sure
the
that
medical practitioners.
it's called the Health Amendment Law. So these professionals nominate their representative to various bodies in government, NHIF, NSSF, Farmers and Poison Board. So the minister is saying, I want to have the sole prerogative powers to do that.
He wants to be the representative.
It's another impunity. It's another culture of impunity. So I think William Ruto is a victim, just like Mzee Moi. The only difference is that when Moi and Jaramogi were victims, Kenya was still not that enlightened. Kenya was not that enlightened. The tribal card was still very strong. We didn't have a good constitution, but I am sure, and I want to tell the people who are contrary to the constitution, who are humiliating William Ruto, that they must be aware and be cognizant that President Uhuru Kenyatta has a serious retirement and pension plan. Okay? It is in law how many cars he'll be given, how many security will be given, how much he'll be paid at the end of the month. He needs to have an executive office, a house, and everything. Those men and women who are now humiliating William Ruto, I can tell you, they just need to read history. They need to read the history of Mbiu Koinanges, the ones who humiliated Jaramogi and Moi. They need to go and find and get some notes from those who humiliated Saitoti, the Hezekiah Oyugis, may his soul rest in peace. My friend ZK Cheriot, the powerful man, Nicholas Biwott, those who humiliated Raila Odinga, the Kiraitus and the Kimunyas and the Murungarus and Matere Kereris, who today want to tell us Raila Odinga is a saint. Matere Kerere can give, a splash news to the nation. Tell us about how Raila Odinga is good. That is a man, when Kibaki was sworn in, kept Raila Odinga in hotels around Upper Hill and says, no, Kibaki is not feeling well, you cannot come. They appointed people who were from Raila's backyard, who he did not like, the likes of Tuju. Raila was humiliated. Francis Kibeme today is telling us Raila is a good man in the Grand Coalition government.
That was politics.
Yeah. What is politics? There must be some hygiene. So, but I think all said, Kenyans must learn from history
and do better and build a better history going forward. All right, moving on quickly. I'll ask you very quick 3 questions. Then I'll give it to Ojwang to take us to ICJ. We have a brain that's coming up. But before that, there are 3 questions that I want to have in succession very quickly. First of all, drought in NFD, National Northeastern Frontier. It has been declared as a national disaster, but there seems to be little that's being done to avert the damages that are happening there. People are dying, animals are dying, and I'm just wondering if the people who live there are feeling like Kenyans. And you as their representative, what's your feeling?
Northern Kenya, and I think about 20 counties, but about 10 of them are severe, are facing one of the worst drought that has happened in our country. Both, the last 2 years, the rains failed in that region. So animals and human lives are in danger. Animals are dying. The basic livelihood of those people is finished. People's lives are in danger. And even wild animals. You have seen the giraffe in the social media. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, and morally wrong, the president declared it a national disaster. So the national disaster was just in paper. The president said he will give 2 billion Today, there's no thing on the ground, no water tracking, no food distribution, no food for the animals, the hay they're saying. The whole money has not left Nairobi. And you know, it is very unfortunate, very sad, that the man at the helm of the National Treasury, the guy who holds the pass, happens to be a pastoralist. The people in his constituency in North Hora are dying, in Marsabit, in Garissa, Wajir, Mandera. And he's busy going round trying to form a very useless animal called Upia. It's not even a party. I don't know what it is. It's very, very sad. It is an insult to the people of Northern Kenya. And this government has failed. This afternoon, I'm going to bring an adjournment motion in the House. This country, the House must discuss this national disaster for 2 hours. And we will put it on the table that no government intervention, even the international community, needs to coalesce around government. The government, after declaring it as a national disaster, the next step was to call donor conference, you know?
Stakeholders.
The stakeholders led by the UN OCHA, you know, in charge of humanitarian assistance. Kenya Red Cross was supposed to be re-energized. You remember they used to do even M-Pesa, pay bill number and money.
And there's a SAL.
Yes, so it's like now the people of Northern Kenya, and I agree with you, they look like they're not part of Kenya. They're not part of Kenya. You know, the second term, the first term of the Jubilee administration, whether they like it or not, the Mr. Fix was William Ruto. The moment they sidestepped William Ruto and they put him aside, they are unable to run the affairs of the state. Yes, the president is a figurehead. The president listens to people. The president needs team. The DP used to be the person who used to organize all this. He used to go and get the approval from the president. He will do the rest himself. But now, the president is in the US. It's like nobody is running the country. You know? You have seen, you know, one of the most ridiculous things I saw the other day with this government is that government is taking over Kenya Power Lighting.
Yeah, there's a
listed company. KPLC is a listed company. Government has no powers to take over a listed company.
Nationalized.
If they want to take KPLC, they must go to the Nairobi Stock Exchange and delist it. So we are discussing the drought this afternoon in Parliament. We pray to God that the rains are expected any time. But my brother, I can tell you that the problem is in the Horn of Africa. Same situation is happening in Somalia, in Ethiopia, in Eritrea, in South Sudan, in North Sudan. It's in the whole of... But I'm sure our country has the capacity, has the budgetary allocation, and the people of Northern Kenya have a constitutional right under the Bill of Rights that the government has a moral duty
to protect them,
to feed them, and to protect both their life and their animals and their whole livelihood.
All right.
It's very unfortunate.
Okay. Poleni sana. I don't know, the Northeastern tuko pamoja. I think it's time we started the Kenyans for Kenyans again.
Yes, I think we need to start that.
Yeah, so maybe we need to look at that. Now, the second question is on the fuel prices and the cost of living that has been, the way things are right now. Kenyans are on a national outcry on the cost of living. The fuel prices has been going up. Very phenomenal. I mean, you've never heard about this before. You are a sitting majority leader.
Yes.
You've been accused of aiding the oppression of the consumers.
You know, I have an opportunity to clear that matter. Number one, the prices of fuel in Kenya are very high because of high taxation and levies. Why do I say so?
Okay.
Cumulatively, the levies and taxes put on every 1 liter of fuel, either petrol, diesel, kerosene, bought by a Kenyan consumer at a price of 134 for a Nairobi petrol is 78 of that 134, 78 shilling goes to taxes and levies.
78.
78, whether you call it petroleum development levy, whether you call it
Railway
VAT.
levy, road levy.
So number one, that's why our fuel are more higher than Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia. Two, in 2018 finance bill, through the influence of the IMF, the Minister for Finance introduced a 16% VAT on fuel. When that matter came to the floor of the House, the House deleted that provision and rejected it. And in fact, the amendment to delete it was moved by none other than Junet Mohammed, the minority whip. When it went to the president, and that time I was the leader of majority, the president and his technocrats from the National Treasury, that time led by Henry Rotich and Kamau Thuge, they put their numbers on the table and they said, we will lose huge revenue. And we argued and we argued and we said, this is not popular with the people of Kenya. It's not popular with members of parliament. What did the president did? The president used his constitutional veto power under Article 115 to return that finance bill. The only thing he did was he reduced the 16% to 8%. You can go and read the answer. So when the president returns a bill with reservations, a memorandum, reservation, the only function of the leader of majority is only one, is to present to the House the president, reservation, and the reasons.
For reservation.
So I just presented and the reasons. For the House to disagree with the president reservation, they need to raise 2/3, which is about 236 members. That afternoon, I still have the record. The House raised 225.
Out of?
232. So they tried. So the person who increased the prices, who put 8% VAT on our petroleum fuel per liter, it is not members of parliament, it is the President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, in exercise of his constitutional role. But let me ask you, and I've said it on the floor of the House, it irritates people. President Obama, in his 8-year rule, he used the veto power 4 times.
Okay.
President Kenyatta, in his now 9-year rule, has used 37 times.
37 times?
Yes, the framers of the Constitution provided that Article 115, framers of the Constitution, to the President for only 2 reasons, only 2. One, to protect the Constitution, because the President is the highest individual bestowed to protect the Constitution. So in the event the legislature passes unconstitutional provisions, the president will come in and use that power to deny the House. 2, the president is supposed to use that veto power in the unlikely event that there is the existence of a rogue legislature. You know, the legislature can be very rogue. They can even connive one afternoon and decide to increase their salaries. They can even decide to sit one afternoon and bring retrogressive media laws. Okay? So the president, as a person popularly elected by the people, he has that provision in the Constitution, Article 115, to deal with a parliament or a legislature that behave in a rogue manner, that behaves in an excessive way. So, but now what we have realized, yes, now what is happening, the president, you know, the new Constitution, the way he said earlier, Professor, created checks and balance between the 3 arms of government, that no arm can become a squatter. You know why people don't know, Kenyans don't know why we were denied to have ministers in the house.
Yeah.
When I was a deputy minister in the 10th parliament, ministers and assistant ministers were close to 100. So if you have got 100 ministers and assistant ministers,
Yeah.
you are basically running the legislature.
The legislature. Yes.
Which BBI was doing again.
Yes, which BBI was doing. In fact, the BBI, the return of ministers by BBI was the president wanted to capture the legislature because you have the numbers. Secondly, the judiciary was made independent. So by bringing a ombudsman through the BBI, the president wanted to become a squatter in the judiciary, wanted to become a prefect. So you know the 2010 Constitution is one of the most progressive constitution. It created checks and balance. So what is happening now in Kenya? The president in the old constitution used to be a member of parliament. Kibaki used to sit with us. Okay? Moi used to sit in the house. It says the president cannot be a member of parliament. The president is the head of the executive. He cannot participate in the legislation process, and that is given to members of parliament. So President Uhuru Kenyatta now is using Article 115 to legislate through the back door. In fact, he's a member of parliament. But I don't know for which constituency. In fact, he's a super member of parliament. I don't know his constituency. Yes. And he can override 349 members. So it's very, very sad scenario. And, you know, now, all that they need to do. And the other sad thing is that, you know, in the petroleum levy, before last year, July, it was 0.4 cents. Petroleum levy fund. Minister Munyes, and I'm sure he must be listening to me, did a Gazette notice and increased from 0.4 cents to 5 shilling and 40 cents.
Wow.
Okay? Per liter. The essence was good. The money was supposed to be used as a subsidy to caution citizens against the escalating global fuel prices.
Yeah. Battle prices.
So it was supposed to subsidize. Whatever money was collected from the 5.4 shillings cents was supposed to be given to oil marketers. Don't increase your prices. We will subsidize you. Between July last year to September this year, they collected 31 billion.
Why?
And only 8.5 billion was received by the oil marketers. Up to today, the other amount of money, where it went, nobody knows. So, you know, the whole thing, this country, there's a capture of everywhere and corruption. And don't be cheated. Corruption is at the center of government. So Kenyan people, you know, I saw the other day my good friend Raila Odinga saying prices will come down within a week. So tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, I want to have an opportunity and challenge on the floor of the house.
The fuel afresh.
Yeah, what happened? You know, leaders must make sure that what they say
is what they do.
Is what they do.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. My last question on that, then I throw it back to Ojwang. Pandora Papers. I don't know if you've heard about Pandora
I think
Papers.
from where I sit, Pandora Papers have been leaked by independent journalists who are doing investigation. The president said he will speak about it when he comes back. I'll do my comments when he speaks.
Okay, after he speaks. All right. Back to you, Ojwang. Then when we come back, we'll track back to Wananchi.
No, you know, I like the part where he was talking of the veto powers. South Africans realized the same problem. They made a constitution for Mandela. But when Zuma came, Zuma is not Mandela, and took advantage of all those other things that they thought a gentleman would not do. So became a super legislature, as you are saying, and weakened the transformative constitution. Again, you have noted to us the right to food is in the constitution.
Yes.
And right to life and livelihood. And the manner, because I know that the ASAL department is under the Ministry of Devolution.
Yes.
And there were a lot of projects they were doing in Northeastern, because we know that once you have called national disaster, there is some mechanism that triggers. But we, Mheshimiwa, let me ask an open-ended question. I'm a fan of open-ended question.
Yes.
What happened with this Somali issue? What happened with this Somali issue? We are waiting to hear from ICJ.
Yes.
We can anticipate what Somali is doing, trying to do. How did we get here? And how do we get out of here? Because you know that if that water body is gone, that ocean will become a swimming pool for us. Because it won't
It
be
will not become a swimming pool, but it will come to something closer to a swimming pool.
Okay.
If I don't know how the judgment will be, whether it will favor Kenya or Somalia, I don't want to anticipate. It will be around 3 o'clock Hague time.
Okay.
And, you know, the problem with our country, number one on the onset, is you cannot join international organizations and international judicial systems and sign international treaties, beginning with the Vienna Convention, and be part of the UN system, and even be a member now of the UN Security Council, and on the other hand, you want to violate the provisions that govern those institutions. Kenya had an opportunity not from day one to say we will not participate in this court process. Boycott from day one and say it's not fair, it's not all this. Kenya went to the ICJ when Professor Gideon Mugai was the Attorney General. Kenya got external lawyers. Kenya participated partially.
They entered appearance, yeah?
Yes, so you know, if me and Professor go to Milimani with our lawyer and the case starts, then when the judgment is coming next week, we say we are not going to accept that judgment. We are withdrawing from that.
We have no confidence.
Yes, we have no confidence. We are withdrawing for that. I think it's not tidy, it's not neat. And I think the buck stops with the Office of the Attorney General. I think the Office of the Attorney General should be held squarely for many of the things that have went wrong in our country, including BBI. And even now he is going to Supreme Court to go and challenge. You know, in my community they say when you get lost at night, you come back to the route during the day in the morning. When the day break,
makes sense.
You retrace your footsteps.
Fair enough.
That is a postulate because you know we don't use Google Maps. We use the footsteps. So at night when you are walking with your torch, if you come to a roundabout and you take a wrong side, and by daybreak you realize you are lost, you go back to the roundabout to retrace from there. I expected, you know, that, but I call upon, because if it is ruled in favor of Somalia, even our maritime and our port issue and the movement of big ships will be in jeopardy. So I call upon both Somalia and Kenya, their governments and their citizens, to give dialogue a chance. This matter must be retraced back. This matter must be resolved to the satisfaction of both countries and both citizens. Kenya and Somalia are neighbors. They will be neighbors. They have been neighbors. They have more interests in common than disagreements. And I think Kenya, as a bigger brother, a more stable country, with a more stable economy, we should always be the one that guides the smaller Somalia, that country that is facing a lot of security challenges. We should stop chest thumping, We should stop talking of a military action. I think within the framework of East Africa Community, within the framework of IGAD, within the framework of African Union, within the framework of the UN and a lot of our international friends, both countries must come back to the table, digest that judgment, but get the best out of that judgment. You know, they say you can choose your friend, but you can't choose your neighbor.
Yeah.
So there's no way today we can say Kenya will be removed from this region and taken to another part of Africa, or Somalia, we take it to Guatemala, or North America. So I think this needs serious diplomacy. And Kenya, unfortunately, in the last 2 years, Kenya has lost on its foreign policy. Kenya is not doing well within its neighbors. Kenya is not doing well at the continental level. Kenya is not doing well in the world. Kenya has.
Why is that?
And I think because Kenya has no definite foreign policy. Kenya acts on a knee-jerk. And you know, the way they remove the security of the deputy president, the way they humiliate, the casual manner they handle the deputy president, is a casual manner.
Hygiene?
Yes, no, you know, you know, the story of Ayadin is another long story. Up to today, we are not even shown the deportation order of Ayadin. So the way, you know, there are many things you can do casually, but you can't run government casually. Your foreign policy cannot be run casually. Your foreign policy of a country is pegged on your economic pillars. You saw the first 5 years of Jubilee. Who powerful nation and their leaders came to Kenya. Obama, Modi, the president of Turkey, Pope the Second, you know, name them. Angela Merkel.
Even God.
You know, what do you call it? The British Prime Ministers. That was a sign of a robust foreign policy. But Kenya, and I'm not saying it, you know, some people might think, I am a Kenyan, I am one of the people who hold at one time a constitutional office. I cherish Kenya. I love Kenya.
And even MPs.
I want Kenya to be. I mean, I had more engagement than any other leader when I was a leader of majority with the Senate Foreign Relations Committee of the U.S. or with the Congress Foreign Relations, with the House of Commons. I sat with key foreign policy shapers in Brussels, in New York, in Washington. So I know what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm not peddling street gossip. Kenya foreign policy is in doldrums, is not doing well, and everybody knows it, you know. And it's because the men and women who are in charge there wants to handle, you know, the whole government. A government is an institution. Government is being run casually, you know. And the president, I know President Uhuru Kenyatta can do the best. He should put his foot down, and he should put men and women who can deliver on the foreign policy of Kenya.
Because I look at
at least the PS, Ambassador Macharia,
very fine.
Is a very refined. Is one of the refined diplomats we have in our country. He represented us very well in New York. He represented very well even in ICC in Hague. He's a man I cannot replace him with anybody else. He's one of the. In fact, he is one of the most finest diplomats that we can put Amina and him together. You know. But I think he needs also to put up his game and save the political, the foreign policy of our country.
Because look at the
Kenya is a leader in the Horn of Africa. Is a leader in sub-Saharan Africa. Kenya is a leader in Africa, and is a leader respected in the region. So,
but it's becoming a pepper tiger.
I think so.
You are right that Ambassador Macharia, even the SDG, Kenya was one of the two key leading countries.
Yes.
So our glory, somebody have said we are hypocritical. We embrace international law when it works for us.
Yes.
And we trash it
When it
then
doesn't.
it does not work for
Yes.
us. I have found myself in with almost a egg on my face because I actually believed that Kenya were going to pull out of Rome statute. When I met somebody in the Foreign Affairs, he told me that's no longer a priority.
You see?
But we embrace it when it works for us. You look at UNEP. Kenya did very well at the earlier stage. And even now, look at how Djibouti also wanted the Security Council.
Yes.
And we beat them to it. So we embrace...
No, we beat them by a little margin.
Very little.
In fact, yeah,
Very
and,
little.
and Djibouti is a very small country.
And imagine our record. If
Yes.
now our record of threatening ICJ.
Yes.
But why is it not going to work this time?
No, let me even, Prof, tell you. How do we sit in the Security Council and every morning we want to threaten the existence of the refugee camps?
Yeah.
Oh, we are going to close you. We'll
happy.
throw you across the border. I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it.
And you are the leader of the collection of...
The UN,
Yes.
the UNHCR
Yes.
is an appendix
Yeah.
of the UN
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
You know,
And the
so
peace
you
and
can
the security.
you cannot threaten a UN agent or arm of the UN, and you sit in the UN Security Council as a non-permanent rep.
We throw Trump.
So you know we
Trump
can't.
season.
Yeah, we can't eat. We can't have our cake and eat it.
But didn't we succeed with the ICC? Because I remember in the ICC, and you were there, when C.S. Amina said the world, if we are not needed, we can leave. And in that meeting, there were two views. There were others who were saying, how about if they tell us leave and we really don't want to leave? But it worked.
Yeah, no, it worked. But you
So
know,
why can't it work
no,
now?
but you know, ICC. If you ask me, ICC was. It was the cases of Kenyans were in the ICC.
Okay.
More so, the rest were collateral. More so for President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto was an international conspiracy that was organized by international partners and countries, including the US, the European Union, UK, and many people, at the behest of the late Kofi Annan. And all this was to fix the political journey for former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Yeah. There was no case in ICC. ICC was the Ocampos, the Kofi Annans, the work report. If you dissect all those documents, the whole case against Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, and I mean, I will say it anywhere, was an international conspiracy to lock out these two, so that former Prime Minister Raila Odinga gets
A smooth sail.
a smooth sail roadmap to the presidency.
Wow.
Yes.
Finally, because I look at the Somali, and I agree with you that in this region, you know, we are not at best foot with Tanzania. Uganda is turning their back
Ethiopia.
on us. Ethiopia. We are threatening Somali. We are threatening Sudan. We are becoming a quarrelsome neighbor. And I've seen our our foreign policy. There is one that they wrote. You know, Kenyans are good with writing documents.
Yes. And
and it has the economic pillars, and in this region, how even decisions and bureaucracy should be made. But my issue is, so suppose we lose the case, which it appears that Kenya are throwing tantrums, and they might be feeling it already. You as the leaders, and you know, there's a time that I felt very bad when our leaders from Somali went to Somali and they were treated by Kenyans like terrorists.
Yes.
So that you find easily the person we take to negotiate there, we leave our people who will understand the context better, and we give that consultancy maybe to a friend or whatever who is simply making money. I've spoken with Farah Malim about this. These are Kenya Somalis who are very willing, very able to talk to the other side. When the ocean was being sold into block, it was the Kenya Somali in the UK who actually demonstrated
Yes.
and appraised the world that no, we are not going to do this. So why have this group of leaders been treated with so much suspicion, wanted away from diplomatic relation, and mistrusted totally?
No, you know, there is a stigmatization of the Somalis in Kenya, and it has a very long history to the Shifta War and all that. Successive governments, Mzee Kenyatta, Moi, Mzee Kibaki did a bit better. He was a good leader, but even this government. So there is a non-acceptance.
Othering of Somalis.
There's non-acceptance by certain government bureaucrats of the reality that the Somali Kenyans are just like the Luos in Kenya, just like the Kikuyus in Kenya, that they occupy more land than even the other Kenyans. That reality must sink in. And those who have that kind of mentality, they can go to the nearest transformer and hang themselves. We are Kenyan Somalis.
So when they can afford it, it's very expensive these days.
When this if they can afford a transformer, these Somali members of parliament from northern Kenya, these Kenyan leaders who went to Somalia, are the leaders who come from the constituencies that border Somalia and affected by insecurity. And they went to Somalia to go and have a chat with the president of that country in order to help both themselves and our country on how to resolve the issue. But when they came to the airport, you remember the drama which was being played, the drama and all that.
You are undercutting us.
So, and right now, the case before the ICC, from where I sit, our position is just like any other Kenyan community. Okay? We are protected by the Constitution. We are Kenyan Somalis. The lawyers on the western part of Kenya that border Uganda, when Mudi Awori was the vice president, his brother was the other side minister, I think.
And we glorify dual citizenship except when it's Somali.
The man, Lowassa, who vied in for presidency against Magufuli, sometimes he used to live in Namanga. Okay?
He has a family.
So, but there is something, quote unquote, about the Somalis. You know? There are Luos who live in Sibania and Kurias.
We know Tanzania. Our favorite banker, I realized, was from Tanzania.
Yes. They are even members of parliament. Even across Trans Nzoia, there are Kalenjin members of parliament in the Uganda.
In Uganda, the Sabaots.
But you know, historically, there are certain forces within government, and there are more so in this government, who try to profile the Somali community.
But you guys compete
and you
in
know,
business.
and you know, because we're doing business, because we come from the desert, we have no other choice.
You cannot farm.
But you're making
you cannot
it too big.
Yes, no. We will make Nairobi too big. We will expand Nairobi. We will go to Eldoret. We will go to Kisumu. And my message to those bureaucrats who feel threatened by the hard work and the business entrepreneurship of the Somali community, you have no choice. We are here to stay. And more so, we are nomads. So we keep on moving. From Isli, we move to South Sea, where now we are in everywhere. We're in Kisumu. So if you have a problem with us, you will leave Kenya, not us. Because we are Kenyans. We occupy 70% of the landmass of Kenya. We have produced key leaders in Kenya. At one time, we produced the chief of defense forces. We produced the chair of IBC. We produced ministers. And we have no apologies to make. So those who are threatened by our existence, I am telling them on this show, you are yet to see the hard work and the entrepreneurial capacity of the Somali community. We love Kenya. Which line? I mean, our line. Our line is the Constitution. Our line, Professor, is the Constitution. Our line is to protect the Constitution and the laws. We respect the law. We love our country. We are patriotic citizens. All the positions we have held in government since independence, We got it because we are fair. In fact, where we lead, we create fairness. That's why Mzee Moi gave, our leaders key positions. The late Haji, General Mohammed, General Ali is the one who saved Kenya in 2007 post-election violence. So, but my friend, we are not Indians. We are not immigrants. Like in Tanzania, we are immigrants. In Uganda, we are immigrants. But in Ethiopia and Kenya,
it's the border that
my
crosses.
friend, in Ethiopia and Kenya, we are part of those countries.
But you came earlier than the Bantus and Nilots.
You guys came the other day. Yeah. We were the ones who are holding the land for you. But the problem, the Kenyan citizens have no problem with us. It is few bureaucrats. And we know them, and we will deal with them. But I'm telling them, we are nomads. You will find us. In fact, now we're in Uganda. We have left Kenya. Now we are doing business in Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi. So we are in Zambia. The big guys in Zambia business are Somalis. Okay. We are in Dubai. We are in Turkey.
They're saying you bring
Let me
Sharia
finish. We have produced the first congresswoman in the US.
Yes, Omar. In December.
We have a member of parliament in Finland. We have a member of parliament in Sweden. We have a mayor in UK. Okay, my friend? With the whole of Minnesota state, we have a senator, we have 2 members of legislative assembly in that. I was in Toronto, in Canada. We have a member of parliament and we are one of the key ministers. The Minister for Housing and Social Protection is a Somali. He's schooled in Jamhuri High School. His mother lives in South Sea. So you guys, we are not, you think we are around here. We have moved. We are everywhere. And we are telling them, we will not be pushed. We will not be pushed.
Okay.
But that, we only have 8 months. The person who understood us and who is fair to everybody in Kenya, the smallest to the biggest, is William Ruto. That's why we are supporting him. We want a government that respects and protects each and every citizens, whether you produced a president or whether you have never produced an MCA. That community must be respected in Kenya. We cannot be bullied. We cannot be bullied by the sons of the dynasts. I am telling you. And you know who I'm referring to.
But a little bit of staying on your line will not hurt much.
No, but tell me the line. You define the line.
Maybe you should define the line.
You must define the line. If that line is not in the Constitution, don't even say it.
Probably. Yeah. It's not.
It's not.
Because I know every time that Somali community thrive, we have a lot of unnecessary crackdown.
Yes.
Unnecessary
stigmatization, yes.
In
fact, you will see, let me say it here. If today in the case, Somalia wins, you will see some idiots, public sector officials who will try to profile the Somalis in Kenya.
Yeah, they're the ones who went and hired white lawyers.
What business do we have?
Right.
I mean, we are part of... furthermore, in fact, the sea is not on our side.
Bitok, there's one incident I want to relate very briefly. That was very sad. I was in USIU teaching, and there was this assignment that the students were given. If you are a Muslim, go to a church to learn culture, different culture. If you are a Christian,
go to a
mosque. So the university were giving letters, and as you are given a letter, you go there, you experience. These are young people. It is requirement to be broad thinking. So one time I'm in that common room, and a girl comes. And as the girl comes, she's looking for that teacher who gave that assignment. And we are saying the teacher is not there, but what's the problem? She's saying, as we talk, so-and-so is in the police station. And she's in the police station. He went to one of the churches. And the churches said he was acting suspicious.
Imagine.
He came, he was writing things. We know he's not converted. And so they called the anti-terrorism to this young man.
Arrested him.
He's arrested. And so the teacher came. And when the teacher came, he was given that story and went to the administration and the security. And the security said, no, we have intelligence that a lot of them are coming to USIU. Why? There is something they are up to. And then we have intelligence that that person was probably going there to use that assignment for his terrorist activity. So I was asking them, why will somebody wait for a damn class assignment to go spy on how to bomb a church? So the issue of profiling and the issue of they forget the history of Kenya, that we have lived peacefully. The same mistake we almost did as Christians when we wanted to oppose the Kadhi court, which they said no. In personal issue, if you are a Christian and you go to a local court, the law being applied there is generally Christian oriented on issue of personal issue like marriage. So what is wrong with the Kadhi's court? And I'm glad that Kenyans brought that. And when international community were giving us fear, they'll bring Sharia, they'll bring whatever, you can see that we are living peacefully. So it's very important for us to nini. One of my students was telling me, do you know the most common name will be Mohammed by which year? And I think the most common name is not Onyango, so I don't care. So there is a lot of fear mongering and there is a lot of profiling that we really need to stand up and say that's nonsense.
Both for the Somalis and the Muslim community.
Unnecessary. And it's actually radicalized.
And it is a state-sponsored profiling. It's not the citizens. In fact, the citizens in our country
have no problem.
Appreciate the entrepreneurial skills of the Somali community. I mean, you have seen better restaurants, cheaper food, better food. I mean, if you go to Sli, you get affordable clothes, cheap
and no
clothes.
pickpockets. I like that part.
And they don't also undercut on deals. If you agree, tanga yako unasonga. Anyway. Now, you have a challenge, and then I'll open the phone calls. We are finishing in the next 10 minutes. So I have a challenge for you from the audience, and then I'll open the Bunge la Mwenyenchi for 5 minutes as well. The challenge is, you had a list that you were supposed to release some time back. What happened to the list?
Which list?
I understand there's a list you were supposed to release.
Which list?
When people were funding and terrorism. And
No.
terrorism.
You know, I thought you will ask me a better list.
Okay.
Of the people.
It is from the people, it's not me.
No. You know, those are. I'm sure that must be the people who are still living history. In that meeting, it was after Garissa University attack. What we, the leaders, said, and I was speaking on behalf of the leadership, including ministers, that we will not allow people within our communities, and we will raise that issue with the community to defend their country. We will not allow people among us to be involved in supporting terror activities. That was the context. So, lucky enough, now our region is more safe. It's, of course, the main towns.
Okay.
But if they're waiting for a list, I think the best person they can get a list from is the Director of National Intelligence Service, Mr. Kamweru, or the IG. Yeah, I am a member of Parliament. I am not a custodian of lists of criminals.
Okay, Jagi, you've been answered.
There are people who keep the database of criminals and terrorists, both
It's
domestically and internationally. And if they can get from those guys, they can talk to FBI, they can talk to better organized
Interpol.
Yes.
All right. You have been answered, my friend. I've seen Anjay. Yeah? You've been pushing it quite a number of times. So
I'm
I
telling
mean,
to ask me current questions.
Yeah.
That was, I think, 2015.
Bunge la Mwenyenchi iko wazi. Nambari 07798010 au 079800 kwa dakika 5. Tunachukua simu kwa dakika 5 ambazo zinakuja, au 07798010. Bunge la Mwenyenchi iko wazi. Na ukipiga tafadhali stick to the issue very quickly, unasonga nayo. 07798010 au 07798010. I'm trying to throw in the number. Lakini nimekwama kidogo, sijui kama unaweza nisaidia hapa Douglas. Nike nambari 07798010 au 07798010. I think there's something else that was left.
Tell me about this Bunge la Mwenyenchi. What is this?
Bunge la Mwenyenchi?
I'm not people just call it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's not formal.
No.
You know, I thought this thing was formal. There's a president seat. I wanted to go and teach them how Bunge is run.
Right.
Wanapiga simu.
No, it's public.
It's just a brand.
Yes.
It's just a brand.
Ni simu, ni Bunge la Wenyenchi. Sasa unajua wananchi ndio wenyewe. Ni wenyewe.
So the callers are calling.
Sasa wanapiga simu, wenyewe wanasema wanachangia kwenye mjadala very quickly away.
You tell us the source of your confidence that you guys will make it, because you just sound very confident.
No, it's about the numbers. in politics, even when you want to fight, if you want to fight for
Even when
you,
our side we are the deep
no, my friend, when you want to fight for MCA, MP, politics is run like business. You must have the numbers.
Haya, tuko
And
na
the deep state is a
kuna
force.
muungwana hapa. Jambo, bunge la mwananchi. You can have your headphones,
Mwenyekiti
please.
Gerald. Good
Jambo,
morning.
jambo. Good morning to you.
Jambo sana, habari asubuhi.
Salama sana, naongea na nani?
This is Farid Faraj.
Mambo Farid.
Salama sana. Salamia mheshimiwa hapo na daktari.
Nimekusalimu my brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Greetings.
Sabah al-khair.
Aye. Sasa mheshimiwa, I have a question for you
Yes.
on the bottom up economic model.
Very good.
How will it really change the situation whereby people will be taking loans for money and they disappear, like the way the Weather Fund was done? People took money, they never paid it back. How will you people cap that thing? Because people are already planning on how to take it, and we have people who made millions from the Weather Fund. Because I'm seeing it's another copy of Weather Fund. It is like a copy paste of another Weather Fund that is coming.
Alright.
That will enrich the few people who will be having the privileges to get the money.
Haya, kuna swali lingine?
Kuna swali lingine hiyo peke yake.
Haya, unataka kuuliza mambo. Haya, pesa ya bottom up kama kuna mtu atasonga nayo ni Farid Faraji. Haya, 779-800-010 779-800. Na ukipiga tafadhali kimbia haraka kwa swali yako. Leo Farid amejikaza kabisa, amesema yeye anataka kujua tu pesa ya bottom up itaenda wapi. Haya, bunge la mwananchi.
Yes, Honorable Bitok, habari?
Salama sana.
Mimi naitwa Karani, natoka huku upande wa Kasarani.
Yes, Karani.
Swali langu ni kwa mheshimiwa Duale. Kwa nini wakati walipokuwa bunge shinikiza kutekelezwa kwa kamati mbalimbali ambazo zilikuwa zimependekeza hapo mbeleni kama vile TJRC na Dongo Lands Commission, badala ya kuleta mambo hii ya BBI baya tukupendezwa kidogo.
Haya, asante sana. Bunge la mwananchi.
Halo bunge la mwananchi.
Jambo jambo.
Unaongea na Alex kutoka Nakuru.
Yes Alex, niambie dadi.
Nilikuwa naomba uuliza Duale. Halo.
Nakusikia.
Naomba uulize mheshimiwa Duale, mbona anakosea waheshimiwa wanawake bungeni? Kwa sababu uliona juzi akitusa Rosa Buyu sana. Ni kwa sababu ni kwa ajili ya siasa ama nini? Hiyo kitu iliniudhi sana.
Leo you hapa ni tackles real time. Uliza bottom up economic, bottom up money mahali pesa itaenda DJRC land report, na amesema ya kwamba pale bungeni kama kidogo unakosea viongozi wanawake.
Ya mwisho. Nataka nimwambie ndugu yangu ya bunge, unajua katika ile chamber inaitwa debating chamber na ina sheria na mara nyingine inakuwa na gizaza na ni tabia ya huko. Hata ukiangalia historia wakati Shikuku walikuwa, wakati ile marafiki yangu Jakoyo alikuwa. Sasa ile juzi tulikuwa na mjadala kali kuhusu usalama katika Marsabit. Na Marsabit mnajua watu wengi walikufa sana. Hata viongozi. Sasa mimi kama kiongozi ya wafugaji nilikuwa na hotuba katika hiyo bunge ya kuleta watu na kuuliza serikali ifanye kazi. Sasa ule mama alianza mzaha kwa mjadala ambaye ni kali, ina uzito. Na unajua mimi ni ranking member. Na hata katika sheria ya bunge Bitok akiongea unanyamaza. Profesa akiongea Bitok ananyamaza.
Okay.
Wewe unangoja nafasi yako ili kama unataka kupinga yale Bitok amesema maprofesa utapata nafasi yako. Lakini haikubaliwi katika bunge wakati wewe unaongea uko mwingine anapiga kelele. Sasa ule mama, na unajua pale kulikuwa na kizaza, kulikuwa na shida kati ya group mbili. So mimi ile tu nilimwambia ule mama, mimi former majority leader nikiongea, wewe utapata nafasi, wewe kaa chini na ukuwe na nidhamu kidogo. Lakini mimi namwambia jamaa wa Nakuru, basi kama umekasirika bana, pole bana. Sipendi kukasirisha watu. Mimi nakuomba msamaha. Ile ya pili ni ile.
Acha tuchukue swali ya mwisho tu. Ana kuna jamaa. Jambo. Bunge la mwananchi.
Hello Bitok.
How are you sir?
I'm very fine.
Haraka upesi.
I would like to ask the Honorable Duale,
Yeah.
on the party of the UDA, will they form a coalition with other parties or they will go independently?
Okay. All right. Asante sana. Hili swali ya mwisho kwa sababu wakati tunamaliza kwa dakika 5 nakuja.
Kulikuwa na ile bottom up na ile ya katikati ilikuwa
ya pili ilikuwa TJRC and Dongo Land reports. Why is it that the reports have never been implemented?
TJRC, shida ya TJRC kwa sababu walipomaliza walipatia hiyo ripoti rais na rais akatuma bunge na tulikuwa tuna bunge inangojea ofisi ya Attorney General. Kuna kumbuka kuna pesa ziliwekwa katika ile bajeti ya inaitwa reparation ya wale watu waliumia katika hiyo maneno yote ya TJRC. Na unajua TJRC vile waliweka mara ya kwanza walikuwa wanataka tu bunge ikabidi na watu wasijadili.
Okay.
Na sisi wakati tulikuwa na Mheshimiwa Chepkonga. Sisi tuliona hiyo haiwezekani. Bunge haiwezi kuwa nyumba ambaye unaleta maneno na haijadiliwi. So tukaamend hiyo report. Tukasema lazima the house must consider the TJRC.
Okay.
Consider means hata hiyo pesa reparation kama ni kidogo tunaongeza. Kama tunaona pengine kuna mtu amedhulumiwa katika hiyo report tunampatia nafasi ya kuja mbele ya kamati. So kuna hile sasa ile orodha ya vile pesa inakubaliwa kwa upande wa serikali mpaka sasa Attorney General hajalete.
Okay.
Lazima hiyo itakuja kusikizwa. Ndungu Land report nafikiri hiyo ilijadiliwa. Inangojea tu serikali implement.
Okay.
Because it was very clear.
What were the proposals?
Proposals ilikuwa ni wale ambao wamenyakua ardhi nyingi wametajwa kila mahali Kenya. So serikali ilikuwa ni tukiform National Land Commission. National Land Commission had one of the mandates was to deal with historical land injustices.
Okay.
So their reference document was supposed to be Ndungu Land report. So because you know the National Land Commission now imekuwa not an independent institution, imekuwa part of government. So na unajua wale wako na ardhi mingi katika hii nchi wametajwa katika hiyo ripoti ni watu wako na ushawishi mkubwa katika serikali hii na ama serikali zilizopita. Nikirudi kwa hiyo bottom up, nataka nimweleze ndugu yangu Farid nafikiri. Ya kwamba ile bottom up yetu na ile pesa tutaweka katika bajeti tukishika serikali ni tofauti kubwa na ile Uwezo Fund ama Youth Fund. Na nataka niongee kama mjumbe. Uwezo Fund pesa ile nyingi tukampatia mtu ni kama 100,000. Na tena tulikuwa wabunge walikuwa wanawapatia kila mtu. Hapana. Katika bottom up yetu sisi tuta deal na SACCOS. Tuta deal na watu ambaye wako katika biashara. Organized group. Okay. Mama mboga katika market. Boda ambaye wako na soko. Wako na sako. Vijana wa kinyozi ambaye wataform sako. So serikali kupitia constituencies pesa zitawekwa katika sako. Vijana boda badala ya kununua kupitia loan ama Shylock kununua boda anapitia sako yake na sako inamkata pesa hiyo ambayo amepewa kila siku 250 100. So kila biashara. So we want to make sure that our people get out of this Shylock, get out of these high interest rates. Wapewe pesa. Yes, wapewe lending. And you know, there are people who wonder, the biggest opposition we're facing is people don't want these people at the bottom to come up. In fact, if you bring up these people at the bottom and you create employment, even crime rate in our country will go down.
Okay.
The tax bracket will expand, as Professor is saying. So, but there are people who want to protect the corporates, the top, the richest of the rich. And that's why even in the US, for the first time, President Biden is saying categorically on a daily basis, as part of his economic blueprint, that we must reduce taxes for the American middle class. The American middle class is equivalent to our bottom up hustler here. Okay? So if you expand the tax bracket, you'll even reduce the taxation levels in our country. So nataka nimwambie Farid, ile pesa ya uwezo wajumbe wameitumia kisiasa. Walikuwa wanapatia hata wamama ambaye wanakaa nyumbani ama vijana ambaye hata hawana biashara. But this one, it will take into consideration serious Kenyans who are in the small, medium.
It's more of a public
Yes,
loaning,
yes,
public loaning,
yes.
public credit.
Yes, you know, if we have seen CDF has transformed the education sector, okay, the same model will be used to transform by government through allocation of resources to transform the small, medium enterprises. Huyu mama mboga hata ukimpatia 10,000 leo wewe, professor, you give her 10,000, she is able to buy 1 sack of potatoes. But maybe today she can't buy. Anapata ile ya imeko kwa ndoo. Nasikia? Ukimpatia kijana ya boda sako, today he's paying 500 shillings. In fact, they told me weekly they pay 3,200.
Wow.
Okay? As repayment. If you put the money in their sacco and the sacco buys for them the boda, then he can easily pay 1,000 a week. So he can bring up his family and he can repay his loan, and a certain period he owns his boda.
Right. Will there be an interest on the money? Any interest?
No, there will be no interest.
Zero interest?
Yes, zero interest.
Okay. John, do you have any swali?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I wanted to add that, I've seen somewhere where they wrote that it will be coming with deliberate legal policy and legislative framework, both private and public,
yes,
to spur financial access. And what I liked when I was looking at it is that affordable access to credit and finance, area like agriculture, which is 60% of Kenya jobs, if that area is financed, the small micro media, and if you look at it, at the end of the day, Kenya spend 50% of their income in buying food and all this. So right now, the legislative and policy framework for lending is very weak.
Yes, very true.
And it is weak by deliberate, because those who own the banks and those who lend are predatory. You know how many Kenyans are in CRB by now.
A lot of
them.
Even me, I'm in CRB.
It's not
Why have you guys not deleted this thing?
It's not time for confession yet, but we are many. Let me just say we are a lot in CRB. And then, I looked at the US policy, where they realized that the lending is where actually this distinction between private and public, those who make it can access loan and credit. Nobody make it from their own pocket and their own money. So if you can access it, and so one of the things that I saw in their policy, in the bottom up, if they follow through, is that the discriminatory lending. If I go to a bank and I'm denied loan, I must be given a reason. And they will be able to create that government do not have to do everything. But if they're deliberate, that we are opening lending, that we are decriminalizing, and I think that is important there, that a lot of hustle of people are criminalized.
Enterprises.
You go to police station and you find all these bikes, thousands and hundreds. Their hustles and their business are, so just creating a good environment where they are legitimate can go a long way. I
think there's one thing I've forgotten. The proponents, I call them the orphans of BBI, are trying to sell that, and also former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and sell to people that, you counties could have got more resources, but these people have
refused
BBI. You could have got more constituencies, particularly when they got to Mount Kenya. But I want to say it here, that you don't need BBI, or you don't need to amend the constitution to increase resources. The constitution says minimum 15%. So
maximum can be 100%.
Yes, if President Kenyatta and his brother Raila Odinga can agree, we can pass 50% to counties in one afternoon. We amend the Division of Revenue Bill 2021, one afternoon, send it to the Senate, and counties will get 50%. When it comes to constituencies, that is a function of IBC. Article 89, sub-article 4, IBC is to delimit. What happened? President Kenyatta and his brother delayed the reconstitution and appointment of new commissioners for 4 years. Okay? Because the constitution says you can delimit within 8 years or within
2 elections.
12 months. Or he say, 12 years. Or he says, and then he says, 1 year to the general election, you can't delimit. It is a constitution. So they stayed. They were busy, wanted to remove Chapokati and his 2 other colleagues. So the problem is them. If they could have reconstituted IBC, even by 2019, IBC could have given us today new constituencies. This must come out clear to the Kenyan people.
All right. So when are you going for them KF lunch? I can see people are going for lunch.
No. I don't.
He's not invited.
No, when I'm invited, when I get the invite, then I will make a decision.
Baba amekuwa mlima ama bado? Nimesikia baba ako milimani kule juu, nyinyi ndio mnaanguka na theluji.
Unajua hata kwetu kuna mlima. Hata kwetu wafugaji kuna mlima. Sasa mimi sijui ni mlima gani. Why are people talking only one mlima? Even some parts of Elgeyo Marakwet,
all the mountains are equal.
A lot of
no. Even in Nyanza there are some mlimas.
Kila mtu akwe mlima yake.
Yeah, so kila mtu apande mlima yake.
All the mountains are equal.
Yeah, all the mountains are equal. Kila mlima ni muhimu. One mlima cannot be more important than other mlimas. We want to build one cohesive, united country. So don't divide us into mlima, into the water lakes, to the coast, into the rift, into the desert. No. Let us call every Kenyan and let's make a decision based on ideology and good economic models on who to vote for.
Your tackle of the day? Your tackle of the day is your punch of the day.
My tackle of the day is that the contest has been defined. The referee has been identified. The linesmen are ready. The voter registration is on. From where I come from, we have a candidate. We have a national political party. We have an economic model to sell to the people. I am telling our competitors, you don't have a candidate. You don't have a party. You are forming regional and tribal parties. You are waiting for endorsement. You are being interviewed in hotels. The time is up. The hustler movement has peaked. The dust, you can see it from very far, from Isiolo to Laikipia to everywhere. Tell us who your candidate is, which is your national party, what is your program, what is your plan, so that we go and compete on an equal platform in the next 10 months.
Okay, you guys are ready. All right, they are saying when you are ready, they are ready.
And we have a candidate with a track record. Okay. He worked in government as a minister for agriculture. We know what he did. He worked as a minister for education, higher education. We know what he did. He was a deputy president but he in the first 5 years when he was in charge with President Kenyatta, 2013, 2017, you know what we did. We connected over 3,500 Kenyans to electricity. We built the railway. We did over 10,000 tarmac roads. We introduced the free maternal health care. And above all, we built over 250 TTIs. And we stabilized the economy in the first 5 years. So we have a candidate with a track record. So judge us on the platform of our candidate, of our plan, of our party, and we want to build one united Kenya where every person, the poor and the hardworking, those who wake up at 4 a.m. and sleep at 11 p.m. at the bottom of the pyramid, for the first time since independence, will have an opportunity to climb the ladder and join the corporates at the table of decision making.
All right. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for coming in. It's been a pleasure having you. And thanks as well for the conversations that you've given us that I'm sure is going to shape the discourse as we move forward towards 2022 and also for us as a country as well on the matters of cohesion and accepting that we are all part of one beautiful country. We are a Kitenge, different colors, yellow, red, black. At the end of the day, we form one race and one beautiful race that is Kenya. It's been a pleasure having you. Until tomorrow, on the other Wednesday, this has been the State of the Nation edition of the 12th October 2021. Tarehe imekuwa 12 mwezi wa 10 na imekuwa State of the Nation na Mheshimiwa Honorable Duale ambaye ni mbunge wa Garissa Township. Basi siku nyingine atakuja atuambie basi labda after elections kuja atuambie basi mambo kuliendaje pale Garissa. Until tomorrow, see you and bye bye. This is a tackle and it ends now. Bye bye.